What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to 628 Productions. My name is Tim, bringing you everything Thunderbird related as usual. Hope everybody's been doing well, enjoying the summer months, getting some vacation in, and most of all, enjoying your Thunderbirds. Today's episode, been about 2 years since got everything here going together, and was recently on the forums. Someone was talking about their dream build and people's advice as to what they would do with the dream build, and I figured I'd throw my 2 cents in it since that's what this car was. It was my dream build, and just some reflection on things at this point, and maybe some price breakdown since it seems as though these cars are still popular. I just looked on eBay. There's like 5 of them on there right now, and they're asking really big money, which is cool. So maybe there's an upswing, and give you my 2 cents on that. So if you're new to the channel, haven't been following along, it's my 95 Super Coupe. It's an automatic car, pearl white, 1 of 628. That's how we came up with the name. Check out that episode if you have some questions or want to learn more about build numbers. But really just want to kind of give you guys an overview of my thoughts on making the ultimate build. And again, that's what this car was. I didn't spare any expense. I did everything I wanted to do. I got the jewelry box under the hood. I got the fresh paint, fresh interior, the stance, the wheels, pretty much everything has been touched on this car. But by doing so, I would say reliability is probably the area that's really impacted me the most. Since I did the upgrades, got everything back and painted and so forth, I've put less than 900 miles on this car in about 2 years. I think when you just push the envelope to the max with these cars and get up over, I want to say like over 350 wheel, you start to expose some troubles, right? So start with the engine bay. I've went over this a few times. This is going to be more in depth, more cost based. Again, if you are trying to build a dream build, if you're looking at this engine bay compared to a stock Super Coupe engine, it's not really what comes factory, right? So let's start with the long block. To make the power I wanted to make, I rebuilt the long block, and this car was perfectly running, nothing wrong with it. I just knew that for the power I wanted to make, I needed a stronger bottom end. So block was bored 30 over locally at a machine shop, and then the rest of the items for heads, cams, rods, pistons, anything in the rotating assembly, I picked up from Dave Dalk with Super Coupes Unlimited SCU. So he's pretty well the guy in town to go to. I think at the time I built this, and maybe they're still around, I'm just not in the market to look, but Super 6 Performance also has some items. But you look at rods and pistons. When I did this, the rods themselves were $600 for the set. The pistons were $600 for the set. Machine work, to do the block and everything, I want to say it was around $500 at a local machine shop. That was for it to be heat tanked, new freeze plugs, clean the oil galleys, all that stuff, right? So pretty sizable amount just right there. That's $1,800 to $2,000, and I'm sure now that everything is superly inflated, that price has risen, right? It's just the world we're in. Once you get there, then you get to the heads, the cam, roller rockers, all of those items. Again, I picked up used from somebody that was parting out a car. They were all SCU heads. They had the bigger valves in it, better springs, 1.73 Scorpion roller rockers. I want to say that was another $2,500, and that was used. Again, probably going up if you're getting new. Everything I did on this car, I tried to find the best deal or someone that was parting out a vehicle. So, I'm going to add up these numbers once I'm done here, but it goes up pretty quick from there, right? Gets north real fast. So then you got your long block. Then you got to keep in mind, if you're going to go bigger blower, You got to do bigger injectors, bigger throttle body, intake, all of the components. It really adds up fast. This car has 80-pound injectors. I think that was like $200-300, right? Pretty fast there. I picked up the AR kit. Now I bought the blower. Just the blower by itself was $3 grand. And then the parts in the back, that was another $1,000, give or take, for the fabrication. All of that is, you know, customized. It has a Mini Cooper bypass valve. That all had to be fabricated and engineered. In addition to that, then you have the 95mm Magnum Powers throttle body. It's not even available anymore. I think you can get the 85mm throttle body for, I want to say like $350 off a Super Coupe Performance from Bill, and that's all that's offered right now. That 95, I mean, I know it was in that range, but you can't even find them now, so that's kind of a one-off piece. Then we come to the intake. This is a 4-inch intake. You may notice there's no factory MAF that would come originally with the car. This has a slot MAF from newer style Mustang. It's kind of hidden down there on the bottom side just to make it look all clean. So had to buy the slot MAF, had to buy the bung to weld that in, had to buy the pipe. Thankfully I got a great buddy. You guys have met Chris on the channel a few times. He did that work for me. So saved a few ducks there, but man, adds up quick, right? Then you come to ignition, did all that work, got to add the wires, right? So got the live wires that are supposed to be the best on the market. I think they'll set you back another 100, if not more, at this point in the game. And you know, you got most of that done. Now, I chromed everything. I doubt everybody's going to go that expense, but for me, I used to polish all of the pipes, all the parts. I wanted to look great. Again, I call this the jewelry box. And you know, I think that was another $600 to get everything chromed. But you know, that's not an everyday expense, so I'm not really going to include that in here. Some other things. This car has the BHJ, I think it's a SEI or SFI certified balancer. Probably overkill. Again, I was able to pick it up used, I want to say for $400. If you go to Super Coupe Performance now, they're like in the $700 to $800 range. So that's very expensive. This car has the Magnum Powers tensioner pulleys, or the tensioner springs in the tensioners. And I think, again, that's like another $50-60, right? Just keeps going up. Then we get to the intercooler setup. This is an old school Magnum Powers intercooler setup, right? Main thing here is I had to fabricate and customize a radiator to it. I didn't have one of those. If you put the stock one in there, it just couldn't keep up with everything going on. So I hope my wife isn't listening, because I have way too much money into this intercooler setup, but we'll just say a couple grand and we'll leave it there so I don't lose my place in the house and end up on the couch, right? Pulleys, jack shaft, underdrive, overdrive deal. I got the Magnum Powers crank pulley on here. I got the quick removal power steering, right? All those pulleys are like $200-300 a piece, right? So again, I'm going to add this all up the end, so don't write anything down, but it keeps tallying up, okay? So people are talking about building their dream build. I have a ton of money in this car, a sick amount of money. If I look at it, I did this all over, maybe I've owned the car for 12 years, so it was all a progression, right? It was like, this year we're gonna do X amount, that's about the normal amount you pay for a car payment and so forth. But you can see where it snowballs quickly, and for only getting 800, 900 miles in how many years? I don't know, dream build, right? Great, fun. Let me move to the exhaust. So this car has Cook's shorty headers. Again, I picked those up used. I want to say if you buy them new now, they're like in the $600-700 range. I paid like $450. Thought I got a smoking deal. The exhaust, I have 2.5 true dual all the way back, and it's all Borla Pro X setup. See if I can get under here and show you all. Dip on down. But, you know, it's pretty, it's nice, right? Great. On some junk under the car, but yeah, it's true dual 2.5 all the way back. I got the Borla mufflers, Borla 2 in, 2 out, high flow cats. Just the exhaust, another $1,000, right? Adds up quick. So then you say, hey, I've added all this power. Got to do something with the wheels. Got to stop, man. Those old 16x7s and the 1-piston brakes ain't gonna hold this thing down. You gotta think of all components, right? So then if you're me, you're like, man, there's no wheel selection, right? I want some good looking wheels. Every Mustang has great looking wheels. I want to follow in their footsteps. So then you get the wheels. I did the Mustang hub swap. Front end is very inexpensive if you're doing Mustang hub swap. You can get the hubs for a pair for about 40 bucks on eBay. You can get the rotors, pretty inexpensive. They're Mustang, right? I went to Pick and Save my car. Let me knock off the cobwebs. That's how long this car sat. I got the dual piston PBR calipers that you would get off of Mustang GT. Wheels, tires, brakes, rotors. Mind you, if you do the rear, you got to get the 03, 04 Cobra hubs. Got to press those in. Everything's going to involve new rotors. Might as well do pads while you're there, right? All adds up. Those hubs, I think when I bought them, Summit Racing had the hubs, I want to say for like $1.50 each side. Then you're looking at another probably like 20 bucks, 30 bucks for the bearing to press it in. The shop, you know, to do it for you if you don't have the tools. And then the wheels and tires. And I bought nice wheels and tires. And then, insult to injury, since I knew they were discontinuing these, I got one on the shelf, right? So I got 5 total wheels, tires, all the upgraded suspension components, brakes, rotors. I mean, probably another couple grand. And again, this has all been some time. But I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of how quickly a dream build can get out of control. Then you get to the drivetrain. You add all this power, that 30-year-old 4R70W is not going to keep up with you. So this car has been fully rebuilt, transmission, and honestly I think it's on transmission number 7, but it's been rebuilt. It's got a 2800 stall converter. Rear differential has been redone, 373 Ford gears. Again, probably a couple another grand if I'm really thinking about it. I've been blessed to have friends that have helped me on this build, or I found great deals, or friends that said, hey, you buy the parts, I'll do it for you. So I've saved a lot of money, but I'm really just trying to show you how quickly this can snowball. And wait to the end when I tell you what I actually bought the car for, a price tag. That'll really make you understand. Let's get to the interior, okay? Again, these came up on a group buy, the chrome sail panels. I think they made them in a black color. They were really cool. They were short term. On these cars, if something is being made by a vendor, you better get it because it doesn't last long. And that's just the reality of it. So the sail panels, I think in the day were like 200. Interior wise, seat covers from Super Coupe Performance. These are Bill's vinyl set. Also has his carpet kit. I've redone the header panel. I two-toned the interior. That's just black interior paint. I redo it every couple years because it starts to fade and the tan mocha comes through. But again, where I'm heading, oh, and a fun fact while I'm here. These carpet kits have no padding whatsoever. So if you remove the factory carpet and put just this rug down, it's very thin. And I guess maybe I can get in here where it's not cut right. But see, look, it's very thin, right? Not much to it, not much backing. It's like something you'd put down on a golf course per se. But I got this out of a parts car, so I didn't have to take the impact of it. I bought a rusted out car that had the interior kit. But if you were to price this up new from Bill, you're probably looking at another $1,500 easily. And my suggestion is to keep that old rug if you can and lay this over it. I did not because I wasn't aware. And now I have some heat reflective material under the car just to kind of keep those temps down. So again, I did the headliner and a lot of the stuff myself, but you're still looking at another couple grand to get the interior where you want to be. Of course, you got to tint the windows, right? Got to add some Beatz in the stereo. Got to add some new pillar gauges to keep up with your boys and make sure everything isn't, you know, running hot, catching fire, so forth. So that leads me to the end here. And what I told you guys I'd tell you. I bought this car for $1,500, right? And I bought it when Cash for Clunkers was kind of at the end of its run, I guess would be the better way to say it. When I bought it, the guy was convinced it had a blown head gasket. It came with a head gasket set and bolts. They just weren't mechanically inclined to do the job. I did the head gaskets because I had them available to me. Found out that wasn't the problem. It was a leaking front cover, right? I daily drove the car for years, enjoyed it, and then I decided, hey, it's dream build time, right? So that comes down to the body and paint, comes down to the hood. Giving you guys pretty much the mechanical aspects of expense here, right? And I'm not doing this to brag. It's a passion and a hobby of mine. I don't see this car ever leaving the family. It's gonna be left to my kids. It's gonna be in the trust. I love the car. I love the design. I love it when it runs, right? When I'm enjoying it, which has been pretty limited here of late, but it is what it is. Well, let's go with this hood, right? And Lord, this makes me nervous. I'm not gonna shut the hood because those are just there to hold it up. I usually take them off before I close it. I've had some issues with, you know, the fiberglass cracking and pulling out, but this hood, if you were to buy it new, is around $500. Again, Evanoff sells it over there at Super Coupe Performance. Keep plugging him because he's our only vendor, right? You got one guy in town, he's selling you all the parts, so you got to go with what you got to go with. 96, 97 door handles. They're pretty inexpensive. The hardest part is finding these locks. The 96, 97 door lock set is pretty difficult to come across. And I know there's one in the pick and save right now, so I'm gonna go snag those just for that matter. You know, and then the paint body work. So exterior, just to get it where I wanted it, straight, clean, customized. Again, deleted the Ford badging, deleted the trunk lock. You know, instead of the black door handles, took care of that. We smoothed the sides by taking the trims off. And I got a pretty good deal on this whole package. The guy that painted it for me was a friend of a friend. Told me a price, hooked me up. Probably all in on paint, around $4 grand. Again, I told you 5 on the hood. I got it for 100. I found it on again, the marketplace. So I've cut some costs on my end. But, you know, you do that, then you got to add new headlights. Got to add the clear corners because you got to look good, right? You know, that's another 100. So, first off, I found it interesting the guy wanted to do a dream build. He said, man, I love these cars when I was a teenager. Now I'm in a place in life where I can do it. 20 years later, I want to build a dream build. It adds up, man. It adds up. He's like, dude, I worry about mileage. It ain't gonna matter because you're gonna rebuild the whole damn car once it's all said and done with. And I say that with the utmost pride and respect for the Super Coupe because I love these cars. They're in my blood. I think you all know that at this point if you've been following the channel. But, you know, I'm gonna add everything up. I think I added up once and there was like 20 grand in this car easily. And if I tried to sell it, probably wouldn't get anything for it, right? Because it's a 90s Thunderbird that has issues. Who's gonna buy that and say, yeah, that's what I want? So that brings me full circle here. If I were to do it again, and it pains me to say this, but if I really had to do it again, I'd probably drop the Super Coupe engine and put something modern, probably a 5.0, You know, what are the new Coyote options in it? And, you know, have something more dependable, reliable power. I mean, I'm pushing this car to the max in reality. I mean, I think 400 wheel power, 500 crank is probably where this is at, based on the numbers that I've gotten from SCU and Dolph when I talked to them about it. I mean, you're not getting much more unless you want to really get into bigger money than what I've described here. That's really all I gotta say on it, man. It's fun. It's nostalgic. It reminds me of my childhood. You know, when I take it out, people are like, man, I haven't seen one of those in years. Oh my God, that thing is clean. Oh, it's fast. You know, all those things feel great as an owner. But the reality, again, I don't know if it was worth it. I really don't. It just sits in here. Truly, before I did a lot of the filming, I had to knock down cobwebs. I don't know, again, what this camera picks up, but there's just cobwebs. It's been sitting for over a year. It's on these old rollers now. I just move it around. But that's the story of my build. You know, I wanted something that looked good, that went fast, and just was different. You know, nobody else had done it. That was kind of my thought process. You know, I wanted to be able to pull up to a car show, take home a trophy. I wanted to take it to the track and know that I could hold my own, and I knew that if I wanted to drive it, that it would handle well. And I guess I forgot, you know, I got the episode on lowering springs and the Coney shocks. I mean, that was another, you know, couple $100 in itself, right? So that's my 2 cents. If it were me, mild bolt-ons. These cars love mild bolt-ons. You get into the territory where you're just trying to make more power than anybody else, do things nobody's done before, kind of get to a cliff of a point of no return. About 4 of my buddies that I talk to regularly, we all got into the same, let's really move the bar up and progress the Super Coupe platform and do things people have never done before. And now we all have Thunderbirds in our garage that aren't driving anywhere. So, you know, if you were to do a dream build, probably the same money. It'd be best off getting a Coyote engine, dropping it in, being done. And, you know, as I ramble here and go on about that fact, I haven't even hit on the fact that tuning on this car, you know, to do everything we've done, I had to buy a 1/4 horse tuning chip, a laptop for the car, binary editor tuning software. Then, fortunately, I have a friend that'll tune it for me, so I've avoided those expenses, but you know, you might have those if you don't have that in your wheelhouse. So, again, that's about all I got on this one. Been rambling for a minute. I appreciate you all. I have some really big news coming to the channel. It's taken everything in my fiver to hold it back from you all. Big things are about to happen here on 628, so I appreciate you tuning in. If I've given you any kind of information that has been beneficial, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. We do open dialogue down in the comments. I respond. The community of these owners respond. If you have a question, let us know. But appreciate you guys as usual. Hope you're doing well. Talk to you on the next one.